Niall Ó Glacáin. Niall Ó Glacáin, or Nellanus Glacanus c. 1563–1653, was an Irish physician active in Italy. Background: Ó Glacáin's date of birth is uncertain. MacEwan believes him to be about 90 upon his death in 1653, giving a birth date of around 1563. Giorgio Sharps of the Faculty of Medicine, Bologna from 1634 1575. He was born in Tirchanel and may have received his early medical education from a local hereditary family of physicians. At the time, such families were the only source of medical training in Ireland. Spain and France. Ó Glacáin made his way to Spain sometime before 1600, possibly in time to treat victims of an outbreak of the bubonic plague, which was rampant from 1595 to 1602. He was at the Spanish court when Aod Ruad o Domnall arrived in Spain, and may have attended him upon his death in 1602. Ó Glacáin subsequently spent many years practicing medicine in Salamanca. In 1622 he moved to Valencia, residing there for 2 years. In 1627 he moved to France during an outbreak of the plague, working as a plague doctor in towns such as Fons, Figeac, Captanac, Cajarc, Rovaux, and Floye. Toulouse and Paris. He had settled in Toulouse in time to treat victims of the outbreak of 1628. MacEwan states that Ó Glacáin gained high esteem and general consideration because of the devotion which he showed in braving the contagion to succour the sick. He was appointed physician at the Zenodacim Pestiferorum, the plague hospital, at Toulouse in 1628, and was appointed to the university there with the title Premier Professor of Medicine. Tractatus de Peste. By now a respected authority on plague treatment, he published his most famous work, Tractatus de Peste, at Toulouse in 1629. It contained his concise descriptions of the plague, its various effects on different patients such as buboes, rashes, headaches, vomiting, and coma. Suggested treatments including bleeding, the use of clysters, purgatives, and fumigation. An especially interesting part of the text is a description of 4 post-mortems which he carried out, where he noted the occurrence of petechial hemorrhages, which covered the surface of the victim's lungs and also the swelling of the spleen. A pioneer of pathological anatomy. Ó Glacáin was a pioneer in pathological anatomy, with his work predating that of Giovanni Battista Morgagni 1682–1771 by several decades. In Italy. Ó Glacáin moved to Italy in the early 1630s, where his services were sought by the Faculty of Medicine at the University of Bologna, which had a tradition of employing very eminent foreign doctors teaching medicina sopra ordinaria. To this end, the city senate asked the then MS. Giorgio Sharps Medicina sopra ordinaria from 1634 to 1637 write up a report on the Irishman, whose fame by now spanned all of Europe. Sharp's reply was as follows: with regard to religion, Mr. Glacáin is a Catholic, and there is no doubt, because it would be difficult for a heretic to live in a city like Toulouse, which is known to be one of the most Catholic places, and where they cannot bear heretics. Mr. Glacáin is about 48. He is famous because during the plague in these regions of France during the years 1627 to Ó Glacáin became professor of medicina theorica sopra ordinaria at Bologna in 1642, an office he held till his death 11 years later. Cursus medicus. During his years in Bologna, Niall Ó Glacáin wrote his Cursus medicus medicine lessons, which appeared in 3 volumes. The first dealt with physiology, the second pathology, and the third, which appeared after his death, on the theory of signs. This final volume dealt with the different diagnoses by doctors, descriptions of diseases, and was overall an introduction to the modern concept of differential diagnosis. 2 other Irishmen resident in the city, Gregory Follen of Connacht and the Reverend Philip Roch, S.J., wrote commendatory verses prefixing Volume 2. Personal life. Niall Ó Glacáin's personal life is almost unknown. but he did entertain Bishop of Ferns Nicholas French and Sir Nicholas Plunkett at his home in Bologna, when the latter were on their way to Rome in 1648. In collaboration with them he wrote eulogistic poems in Latin to Innocent X, titled Rigni Hiberni et Sanctissimi Innocenti Pont. Max. Pyramids in Comestici. In his later work he mentions another friend, the Franciscan catechist and grammarian, Fr. Froinsius o Malmhuade.